writing repeating decimals as a fraction. So first, a quick reminder on what repeating decimals are. If you see something like 0.8 with the bar over the top of it, that means that is 0.8 repeating, or 0.888888, on and on forever and ever and ever. Well, instead of having to write all of those 8s out, we put the bar over the top to denote that that is a repeating decimal. Other examples would be like 0.15 repeating is the same thing as 0.151515, because notice the bar on this one goes over both numbers and not just over one number. So in this lesson, what we want to focus on is writing a repeating decimal as a fraction. So our very first step is going to be to take our repeating decimal and set it equal to x. So x is equal to 0.8 repeating. This initial equation is important. We're going to come back to this and use it later on. Now, since I have only one repeating digit, my next step is to multiply both sides times 10 to the first power. If I had two repeating digits, so if I had my example of 0.15 repeating, since I have two repeating digits, I would choose to multiply both sides times 10 to the second. Or if I had three repeating digits, like 0.123, and all of those were repeating, I would multiply both sides times 10 to the third power. But in this example, I only have one repeating digit, so I'm going to multiply both sides times 10 to the first power. This gets me 10x is equal to, that moves my decimal point over, gets me 8.8 repeating. My next step is going to be to subtract away my original number. So I'm going to subtract 0.8 repeating from both sides. Well, over here, that wouldn't make a lot of sense since I've got an x over here. But what I can do is I can subtract x from this side. And since I know from my original equation that x and 0.8 repeating are the same thing, then technically down here, I'm subtracting the same thing from both sides. So that leaves me with 9x is equal to, these cancel out, and 8. My last step then is to divide both sides by 9 to get x by itself, and I'm left with x is equal to 8 over 9. One way that you can check your work to see that you've done it correctly is to simply put 8 divided by 9 in your calculator, and you're going to see 0.8 repeating as your answer.